Hey y'all, today's video I want to cover designing yarn versus spinning pretty yarn. And of course I'm not dogging spinning pretty yarn, I do it all the time and love it. But perhaps you want to spin yarn with a purpose or with inspiration. So you have the yarn here on the right, the inspiration is the card on the left. So we're going to talk about how this came to be. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh these bobbins just to get an idea of how close I am when I split it, how even it actually is. And that just gives me an indication on how much may be left over and how evenly the color will potentially line up when plying. And I apologize, I don't actually have video or even a photo of the roving that I dyed. I dyed this 2 or 3 years ago and I'm just getting around to spinning it now. I don't even have video of me spinning the singles. I decided after I spun the singles that maybe this would make a good video as inspiration for others. But weighing this, it's not too bad. I'm actually quite impressed. I split the roving 3 ways. And I have 2 at 56 ounces or 160 grams and 1 at 54 ounces or 154 grams. So that's not bad at all. One difference is the black. The black was dyed separate, as black can be difficult, especially if you want a true solid black. So to get started, I'm going to attach all 3 singles to my leader with a square knot. I love square knots because you can just slip it off when you're done plying without having to sort of break it off like I know we normally do. When I just figured out this technique, I was quite impressed. If you're not sure how to make a square knot, a quick Google search should give you an example. And yes, I'm watching a Skid Row documentary while I spin this, living out my youth. You gotta love a good hairband. So I'm doing my plying today on my Spinolution Mach 3 spinning wheel. I've owned this for several years and it is my workhorse, particularly for plying because it comes with 2 nice large bobbin heads. This is actually the smallest of the 2 that I have. I love doing 3-ply yarns. They tend to be really even right off the bat, whereas with a 2-ply it's easy to get some imbalance. And this is also superwash merino, which as I like to call it, a dead fiber, so will probably be quite straight when we're done. I tend to do all my singles in a Z or Z twist and ply S. With plying, you'll want to take your time and make sure you have really good control over the yarn as it goes up onto the bobbin. Okay, so I had to walk away from this for a minute to consider what I wanted to do next. As you can see here on the bobbins, we still have a fair bit of black left here, none left here, and a slight teeny bit there. So I have 3 options. I could remove some of the black on this bobbin, even the color out a bit. I could spin some more black and add it to these so we'd have more of a 3-ply black. Or I could just spin it as is. Right now I'm curious. I'm really considering just spinning it as is. I mean, black and pink, how can you not like that together? So I wanted to consult the card that's the inspiration for this yarn. This is the 8 of Emotions card, which is where the color scheme for this yarn came from. And yeah, I'm still not decided. It looks like the black is one solid color and the pink, I think this is an important part of the process when you're designing yarn. Much like any other type of art form, sometimes you have to walk away, think about it, come back with it with fresh eyes. So if you're looking at spinning a yarn from inspiration, don't expect to do it in one sitting. Now maybe you'll have the stamina to do it and that's great, but completely acceptable to walk away from it. I do it all the time. Okay, so taking a bit of a break and walking away from this for a while, I just decided to go for it and just keep spinning the 3-ply as is. And it turned out that black section didn't have as much left as I thought, so we have a little bit of mixture here, but I think it's completely acceptable. So now we're into the pink, nice hot pink color. I'm really loving these bright colors and I look forward to the next color change. Okay, time for yet another progress report, different colors this time. Here's our card for reference. So you can see where I'm going with this. Wow, yeah. A little different now from the black and pink, huh? But this is supposed to represent these colors here at the bottom. And I did remove some of the blues and purples because it was looking a little too barber Polish to me. And I didn't really feel like these colors were represented quite as much in the card. So I just went ahead and took those off here on these little tiny bobbins. I believe these are for weaving. So we can see there's a bit of purple, bluish colors at the bottom, but not as strong as what I had spun with the singles. And I like this. Just a little bit of the color poking through, I think, represents the card a lot better. I'm not sure if I'll reincorporate in what's left. We'll just have to see as it goes, as we spin away. It's okay to make changes in your yarn as you go. It does mean you have to learn to break off and rejoin. And this is superwash merino, so if I don't do a join properly, it will fall apart. There is no way that the yarn would felt, right? So it is really good to practice doing joins. I have done an example of a join in another video where I was spinning some targi or targi roving. Maybe I'll see if I can split that into a separate video. Okay, all done spinning. This has actually been sitting here a couple of days. I had a fairly busy couple of days, so I haven't had a chance to skein this off yet or put it on my nitty knotty. And this is what's left, so not much left. Sections that I removed and then just sections of the pink that were left at the end. Probably what I will end up doing is spinning a thicker black superwash singles and man, can't talk today, people. And then make a thick spiral ply yarn. That's what I'm trying to say. Just to add to my collection of little spiral ply yarns that are so fun to play with. Yeah, so I'm going to put this up here and then I'm going to get it on the nitty knotty. And then we'll take a look at what it looks like before it's actually set. Okay, so I'm going to skein this off onto my Lendrum Nitty Knotty. This is a 2-yard Nitty Knotty, so essentially you count the wraps and times it by 2 to get the actual length of your skein. This is kind of cool because it does have an extra dowel, so if you wanted to make it a 1-yard Nitty Knotty, you also could. I must say I never do it because I tend to spin quite a bit of yarn, and the 1 yard is just simply not big enough for me. Now, it took me a long while to actually enjoy wrapping a nitty knotty. It's probably the thing I enjoyed the least when I started spinning, but now I find it really kind of calm and kind of fun to just kind of zip it along. I can do it pretty much without thinking. And personally, I count the wraps as I go. It's just me probably being very anal. I'd much rather do that than count them after the fact. The other thing I like to do after I'm done wrapping the skein on the nitty knotty is I will tie both ends around the skein in a figure 8. I find that that secures it really well, and I know exactly where each end is. Sometimes you'll buy yarn and it is like, where the heck is the end of this? It's just another quirk of mine that I like to do personally. And here's a look at what the freshly spun yarn looks like hanging up. As you can see, it is nice and straight. Partially that is because it is a 3-ply yarn. I find them to be fairly balanced. And it's also because it is a superwash yarn. It doesn't have a lot of spring to it due to the processing to make it not felt. All right, let's fill the sink now and add our TNA soap. This is just like Synthropol, and I'm going to give this skein a soak to help set it, and just to get any like dirt or oils that might have transferred while I was spinning from my hands. Also, if there is any residual dye, that will also help remove it. Again, this is superwash merino. I don't find it really needs a lot of setting because it doesn't have any memory to spring back like you would get with a natural wool yarn. But still would like to set it. It definitely doesn't need a thwack or anything like that. We're just going to give it a little soak for a few minutes and then hang it out to dry. Today we'll be outside. It's a gorgeous, hot, sunny day. As you can see, I've also added some extra ties on this, and that just helps it from getting tangled and messed up while I'm soaking it here. Okay, so I guess I didn't have that plug in the sink. Very good. The water's already draining out. No worries. It's still okay. And as you can see, the water has a slight pink tinge to it. So there you have it. There is a little bit of dye left over from when I hand dyed it that is coming out. So another reason why it's really good to give your yarn a soak after you spin it. And I'm just going to run it under the tap here quickly to make sure we remove any of the suds from that soap. I find TNA soap, much like Synthropol, it's not very sudsy. It rinses out really nice and clear. So we're just going to go real quickly here with some hot tap water to make sure that we've got all of it out. And then I'm going to take it outside to hang in the sunshine. So remember, I had a little tiny bit of fiber left from this yarn I was designing. I decided to spin a little bit of black superwash merino in just a little bit of a thicker gauge. And look at this really fun spiral ply yarn that came out. I added in some other bits and pieces I had left over from another project. I was keeping my fingers crossed because I wasn't sure that it would go together, but wow, I absolutely enjoy this. I think it looks really fun. So as a little bonus here, let me show you what I do with these little mini skeins that I tend to make with the leftovers. I'm not going to waste my time to soak this. We're just going to run it under the tap really, really quickly to help get any dirt, oils, as well as to help set it. I still added a few extra ties because it helps with it not getting tangled when it's jostled around the sink here. And this is just hot tap water. We're going to run it back and forth, get it nice and wet. And this one I am actually going to thwack outside because it's a bit imbalanced, as you notice. That has to do with the fact that it's a spiral ply and it's two different size singles. So that's going to happen anyway. I added a bit of the TNA soap to this as well. We're just running it through. I'm on a very, very deep artesian well. I have a lot of water. If you don't, then by all means, please do soak your yarn. But I'm in no danger of running out of any water, so I'm just going to do this really quickly and we'll get it outside. So as I was saying, it's two different size singles, and that's why you saw that's imbalance and that wrapping around. But I find a thwacking usually helps even that twist out, as well as a little bit of a soak, or here, a quick soak. And I'll demonstrate how I do that here in a moment. Okay, here's our original skein of yarn just hanging out here in the sunshine. I'm just going to let it drip dry. I'm not even going to squeeze it or anything. Let the sun and the hot air do its job. And this little guy is going to join him. Hello, hello. Okay, let's take a look at the final product of this yarn. See if I got it anywhere near the inspiration. So again, here's the card we're going with here. 8 of Emotions. You can see the black, the pinks, and all of the more lighter neutral colors here. And this is the finished yarn. 3-ply. So it's really well balanced. And you can see the different colors. I think it's pretty cool. So like this and this. We also had another little extra. Did a little spiral ply with the leftovers and some other superwash merino I had left over from another spin. This is actually really cool. I love textured yarn. Just sort of that texture, that bumpiness. And I was resistant to put this together because some of the other leftovers I had was from more of a muted, like almost like autumny colors, and I thought, oh no, those aren't going to go with those bright colors, but it works so well. In fact, I think I might sketch this out and make a larger skein of this because it's just really gorgeous. All right, so what do you think? Do you like this? Did it turn out really nice? Would you actually try to design a yarn based on a picture? This is from a creative tarot card set that I have, and I had dyed this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, the fiber. Just got around to playing with it now. Thanks so much for watching me and with this progress with this yarn. I really enjoy sharing it with you all, even as small as the audience is. I know it's a niche thing. I'm not going to get like a ton of views. I'm just really happy to share it with those of you who are interested, and I hope that it helps you elevate your craft and inspires you to continue on your spinning journey. Till next time.